Hi, my name is Tremor. I'm the main contact for technical support at Aven Tools Incorporated. Today we're taking a look at ezImageX3. We're going to be going through all of the different menu options and utilizing all the different tools and showing you, what this program is really capable of. So whether you're coming from ezImageX2 or you're brand new to ezImage, this will be a great place to start. Before we begin, I want to point out that we will not be going over installation in this video. If you need help with installation, you can fill out a support case online or contact us by phone. You'll find that contact information in the description below. Okay, so setup is really important to allow the program to function properly, as well as maintain user settings. So what we're going to be doing is telling the program, are we using 1 or 2 cameras, and which cameras are we using. At the end, we'll be saving the workspace. I'll show you, we've got a save workspace button here. That saves the setup as well as any of our user settings. All right, so let's begin. We're going to go to the View tab. We're going to choose Dual. And you can see Camera 1 and Camera 2. So with Camera 1 selected, let's go back to the Capture tab and enter that Edit menu. Now this first drop-down, is going to identify the camera. It's going to identify it by its device name. So this is the name that your computer recognizes. So it's the same name that will appear in Device Manager for your Mighty Scope or whatever camera you're using. For this Mighty Scope, I'm using a 26700-209 model Mighty Scope, and this comes up as a USB camera DMC-1213. In the second drop down, we're going to choose First, and this just tells the program that we're identifying this as the first camera. We're going to click Apply and Close. Very similarly, for the second camera, we will select that and enter the Edit menu. If you only have one camera, you can choose the same option as you did for the first camera in the first drop-down. Now in the second drop-down, you would choose None. Okay, so if you don't have a second camera, same option for first drop-down. For the second drop-down, choose None. If you have a second camera, you will identify that again by the camera's device name, and then in the second drop-down, you would choose Second instead of None, identifying that as the second camera. So I'm all set here. I'm going to click Apply and Close. Go back to Camera 1, and now we can go ahead and exit dual mode. The other thing that I would include as part of the setup is editing your resolution settings. As you can see, there's a lot of white space here that we want to take advantage of. Right now under the View tab, I've got it set to fill 0, which shows the true aspect ratio of the resolution that's selected within settings. So if I were to change this, it would stretch the image to take up the whole screen, but again, stretching is going to reduce the quality of the image. So what we really want to do is we want to be able to increase the resolution. Go back to Capture. Now I'm going to stress this as very important. Exit live mode before you change the resolution. The reason is, if you don't, you can get into a program state where it doesn't allow you to enter live mode again once you've changed the resolution. So always exit live mode before changing resolution. Going back into the Edit menu, we're going to click the second tab here, Settings, and you can see we have video resolution as well as photo resolution. I'm going to recommend 1024 by 768. Keep in mind that as you increase resolution, it's going to take more time for the camera to output that image. So you could experience lag depending on the capabilities of your processor. It's all going to depend. So I noticed 1024 by 768 is a pretty decent middle ground. Let's hit apply and close. Now when we enter live mode again, you can see that our resolution has been adjusted. Okay, now just wrapping up the setup, we're going to move over to the File tab, like I showed you before, and we're going to save the workspace. This saves all the settings that we have modified up until this point. Okay, so now we can dive into some of the different tools that are available with ezImageX3. Starting with the Capture tab, we have our buttons: Capture, Live, Record, Save, Load, and Edit. We've seen this Edit menu before. Not much to mess around with here after setup. On the second tab here, there are additional settings for brightness, contrast, saturation. All your typical camera settings are here. We can see that live mode is currently active because it's highlighted in green. You can see that this image on screen is live. Now to exit live mode, we would press this capture button. And what that does is that freezes the image for us. We can go ahead and return to live mode. Let's say we wanted to take a picture. We can take a picture directly from live mode. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save here. And this brings up a Windows dialog box. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you that in this recording, but let's go ahead and save this as circuit board. And then you get a sort of preloaded image here. You might think this is a corrupt file, but it's not. You just need to reload this list, and then the full picture will be available. It takes some amount of time to save the image. The image wasn't finished saving before it loaded it in this side panel. So yeah, just go ahead and do a right click on folder and reload whenever you see that happen. Now let's say you have an image on your computer, it's not in this side panel. How do you pull that up? Go ahead and click load. Again, you'll get a Windows dialog box. Find the image you want to pull up and you'll pull it up. You can also record. If we return to live mode, you can do a recording. This is going to start to record the live image. And then when I'm done, click off of record, and again, Windows dialog box is going to appear and ask me to name the recording. So that's it for the Capture tab. Now in this View tab, kind of showed you the different fill options here for manipulating the view. You've got your grid options, and these grid options will be, they'll correspond to whatever calibration you've set up and selected. So right now it's just showing you these values in pixel definition, but once we calibrate, they'll show up as millimeters or inches or whatever we've calibrated. You've seen the dual view before, where you can see both cameras. And then you've got these this clear and undo button. These buttons you can typically find under another menu. So the Measure tab has them, the Geometry tab has them. Clear will clear the screen of all your of all the annotations, the measurements, and whatnot, and we'll demonstrate that later, as well as the undo button. So I'm going to jump here to the Calibration tab. So I want to show you calibration before we get to measurement. Okay, so we've got 3 slots basically for calibration. We can calibrate in 3 different slots. So for calibration 1, you can calibrate using a ruler or an object of known dimension. So this penny has a known diameter of about 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to pull up the wizard, and it asks you to define either a line or a circle. 2 clicks for a line, 3 clicks for a circle. Pretty simple. 1, 2, 3. We have our circle. I'm going to hit apply. Now it asks me to define that circle. So again, I know this is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to enter 3/4. And the units, inches. All right, hit apply, and we have successfully calibrated. So if I were to measure a distance or a diameter, I should get roughly what I calibrated. Oh, look at that. Right on target. All right. So I want to show you what this line measurement does, but for now we're just going to delete it so I can continue showing you the different calibration methods. Again, if you were just going to use a line, then you could use a ruler to do that. The longer the line, the more accurate the calibration. We have an auto calibration feature now. It's called it's this use circle button. So you need kind of a black and white defined space in order to use this. And you see it'll detect the circle. So now the circle is 1 centimeter in diameter. So I'll enter 1. And then we haven't selected units yet, but we can define that later. For now, what I want to do is I want to clear the calibration off the screen. We can clear that doing this. And the calibration will hold. So if I draw a distance here, like I did for the penny, should get, look, just about close to 1. All right. And so now I can show you, we can edit the units here. We said this was centimeters, right? We can also edit the number of decimal places. And we can edit, some other things like the color, the thickness. Do we want it to be movable, scalable? Some other options here. You can choose an outline color. Some of these other options are for text, but that'll only apply to text boxes. Let's click apply on these options. All right, and yeah, so we can move this around wherever we want, and it'll change the measurement to that new line segment. Okay, so using the same calibration as before, where we calibrated in inches, I'll show you we can draw a circle. I can edit this circle. Deselecting the circle button tells the program that you've finished drawing. I can edit this circle and allow myself to move it. So I'll move that circle. Get my line measurement in place. And we can draw an angle here. It'll ask us to select the vertex. and that we can get an angle measurement. And we could save this picture with the measurements on top. We can also annotate with this under this annotation tab. You can pull up a text box here. All right, and we'll say, ooh, it's a defect. All right, right click on the text box, lets us change the text color here. We want to make something, we want to make it pop out a little bit. So let's try yellow. And we can edit the size here. We want the text, we want that outline to disappear maybe. So we can go to Entity Style and yep. So this is the text box outline. So show unselected, no. Apply. Okay, so that's gone. And then the other option here we have is draw. And we can draw a line. And we can point to exactly where that defect is. Lastly, on this annotation tab is the report button. Again, I can't show you pop-ups in this recording, but what that would do is it would generate a spreadsheet with all the measurement data that's currently on screen. And that pretty much takes care of measurement, calibration, and annotation. The next thing we're going to talk about is overlays. Okay, the first set of overlays I'm going to show you are the differential overlay and the image overlay that are located in the Compare tab. So let's start with the image overlay. What this is going to do is this allows us to select the file on our computer. I'm going to select the image of a penny that I saved before. And that's going to pull up a transparency of that image. So then I can take my penny or sample part and I can compare it to that golden image. And I can see if it's a perfect match or not. Now I'm going to use a different part to kind of showcase this next one. It's a differential overlay. It's kind of similar, but what this does is it superimposes a negative on top of the live feed. So you can see like it's all gray now. You don't know what's going on, but if I move this part out of the way, you can see I can line up these different prongs to see if they're straight. Or you could do the same thing with like a circuit board. The gray spots would indicate a match, and then whatever shows up different is well, it might be a defect. So the next couple of overlays are going to wrap up this video tutorial for us, and they're located under the Geometry tab. What I've gone ahead and done is drawn a crosshair, and so 2 lines and a circle, and then I've gone ahead and done this up front because it does take a considerable amount of time to go into these edit menus and define radius, center points, the start and end points of these lines. But you can, change the thickness, the color. You can adjust them, their position using these, using this Geo Adjust feature. And yeah, you can essentially set this drawing up however you want, and then once you have it set up, you can go ahead and save it, which I've done. So if I go ahead and clear this off the screen, I can load it from the file that I've saved, and boom, there it appears, right where it was before. So that's one. And then the last one is very simple. It's going to overlay an image on top of what you're currently working on. So say you wanted to do some sort of picture-in-picture comparison, or you wanted to put your logo or signature on your picture, and then you could save everything as one image. All right, so thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Again, if you need further support, I'm probably the guy you're going to end up talking to. Go ahead and check out our contact info in the description, and yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys if you have any questions. Thank you.